Today I'm going to teach you about the entire history of League of Legends, not the game though, the story, the lore, the stuff that's in the background, the stuff that nobody cares about and absolutely has no connection to the game whatsoever. So why is it important? I don't know, let's go over it anyway. This is the entire history of League of Legends in something minutes or less. Yeah. In the beginning there was nothing, or at least that's what the things inside the nothing thought. The Watchers existed. What were the Watchers? Well, they had no consciousness. They kind of just floated around in space. They didn't hear, see, or touch anything. They didn't even know they existed. Suddenly, light appears.
Hey, what is that? Wait a minute, how'd you recognize that was a thing? I don't know. Wait, I know I exist now. Wait, this sucks. I don't want to know I exist. I hate this.
Little did they know that light was a window to reality, and inside reality there were the Celestials. What were they doing? Oh, they were making the universe, making stars and all kinds of cool stuff. Especially this guy. This guy's a dragon. He's called AURELION Soul. Why is he called that? Because naming people are stupid. So AURELION Soul goes around making stars, and because science, those stars then break the matter to form planets and solar systems. And then eventually this planet right here, it's called Runeterra. That's where the world of League of Legends takes place. Forming Runeterra creates these things called the World Runes. What are the World Runes? I don't really know. They just have a lot of power and they're scattered all over the planet. They're very magical, you see, so the world becomes very magical. And because magic, life begins to form. You got demons, yordles, animals, these abominations, and eventually humans. Little do they know that the theory of God actually makes sense, and the Celestials actually have a plan for these mortals. What's their plan? Well, you see, they became aware of the Watchers after a while ago, and they're like, hey, I don't want that. That's gross. So the Celestials give all sorts of messages to the mortals to tell them that they need to fight back the void. Like constellations. Because we know that works out so well. And eventually they create Mount Targon. What's Mount Targon? Well, they basically ripped a mountain from the ground and a whole bunch of lakes are frozen to the side of it. And what the hell is this? Basically, Mount Targon becomes a beacon of godly light and magic. In fact, those who are able to climb to the top of Mount Targon, not likely that you will, become ascended, chosen by the Celestials, become aspects. They're basically gods. You got the god of the sun, the moon, protection, war, justice, and twilight. Meanwhile, the Watchers have created these things called void rifts, which allows them to peer through reality and investigate. They're trying to learn as much as they can about reality so that they can destroy it. These void rifts are naturally causing a lot of problems, so the mortals of Mount Targon call down AURELION Soul, tell him, hey, we like you a lot, you're helping us out. Take this crown as an offering. And AURELION Soul's a pretty naive guy, so it's like,
yeah, sure, whatever, guys. I appreciate it, even though I really don't care about you. Oh, what the hell, I'm enslaved now.
So now AURELION Soul is enslaved by the humans and tasked to do only one thing, and that's close void rifts, because the humans don't like void rifts either. After a little while, the Watchers realize,
hey, wait a minute. If I touch this, I corrupt it and I can control it. We can use this as spies to gain more knowledge.
And so they do. And through this knowledge, they realize,
hey, we can't just corrupt things. We can make stuff.
These would be called the Voidborn, and what the hell even is that? Seriously, what the fuck? And actually, at the realization that the Watchers have been able to corrupt and create monsters to invade the world, the Celestials are getting a little scared. So what do? Oh, we'll help them create a new empire. We'll call it Shurima, and it will basically be ancient Egypt. Why is it ancient Egypt? I don't know. So they forge this thing called the Sun Disk, which is basically the new version of Mount Targon, in which it beams celestial magic into a chosen soldier. These chosen soldiers would not be called aspects, but in fact would be called the Ascended, or the God Warriors. And because Egypt, they look like animals. Because I don't know. Now at this time, the Emperor of Shurima was this guy called AZIR. He was a pretty swell guy, and under his rule, he would make many god warriors and conquer many nations. But those many nations didn't really appreciate being conquered. One of those nations was Acathia. Under the leadership of this guy called the Mage King, great name, I know, he created a rebellion against Shurima. But he knew, wait a minute, I can't fight off hundreds of god warriors with mere soldiers. What should I do?
Oh, you could, not fight them.
I got it. I'll open a void rift. So for some means, he manages to open the biggest void rift the world has ever seen. And the Watcher's like, hey,
this is our time. Let's send out all the Voidborn we can.
The entirety of Acathia falls into ruin. Great job there, Mage King, by the way. All of the people of Acathia die, and tons of the God Warriors end up dying. But a lot of them survive because they were built to fight the void. That was their purpose. And you might be saying, wait a minute, I thought the Watchers were able to corrupt everything they touch. Yes, that's true, but the God Warriors have supernatural powers. They're more powerful than anything I've ever seen, so they weren't able to fully corrupt them. But they were able to leave a mark. Slowly the God Warriors started becoming more and more insane, but thank God they had AZIR there to keep them in check. He was a righteous man, a great leader, so great in fact that the day of his ascension, he had a surprise that he was going to release all the slaves of Shurima. Everyone would be a free citizen, but then here comes his best friend Xerath, who is also a slave, is jealous of AZIR, doesn't know he's going to free the slaves, pushes him out of the way, kills AZIR, and absorbs all the sunlight energy of the Sun Disk for himself, and he becomes, this. So now the Sun Disk is destroyed, AZIR is dead, and all the God Warriors are left wondering, well, what are we gonna do now? Under the corruption of the void, the fact that they've gone completely insane, they start fighting each other. fighting over land, over people to conquer. The Celestials come down and say, hey, here's the aspect of Twilight. She's a complete asshole, but she'll help you out. So through some hokey dokey magic, they manage to trap the remaining God Warriors, now known as the Darken because that sounds more evil, into their own weapons and are stored away for safekeeping. So now there's peace for a while. But naturally the Celestials are pretty upset that their big plan to stop the Void ended up backfiring on them. So maybe they should, oh no, the World Runes have been discovered. They're basically tiny nuclear bombs of magic. But now all the major powers of the world have World Runes. Well, you know, as long as nobody uses it, I'm sure we'll be fine. Oh, there goes one. Guess I better use mine. And soon the Rune Wars break out and the entire world is on fire and the Celestials are just sitting there wondering, oh yeah, this is fine. Because of this, most of the powerful nations get wiped out. And now we're there. Now we're at the modern day of League. The entire world is at war with each other. Celestials are left wondering, what the hell do we do? And the Void is about to come back. So the moral of the story is that this lore has absolutely nothing to do with the game because the entire game's all non-canonical.